AITA for refusing to apologize to my sister after she trashed my house during her visit and then demanded I make it up to her. This whole situation has left me feeling like I'm the bad guy, but I honestly don't think I am. I'll start from the beginning to try to explain everything clearly. I, 32M, have a sister, Sarah, 28F, who's always been a bit of a drama queen. We used to be close growing up, but over the last few years, our relationship has become strained. I'm married with 2 kids, and my wife and I have worked hard to maintain a peaceful, organized household. I'm pretty laid back, but I'm also particular about how we keep our home, especially since my kids are young and the environment needs to be safe and calm. Sarah, on the other hand, is kind of the opposite. She's spontaneous, messy, and lives a very chaotic lifestyle. She's had some rough patches lately and has bounced around between jobs and apartments. Despite this, I've always tried to be supportive and let her stay at our place when she needed to. We have a guest room, and I think I'm a good host overall. A few months ago, Sarah told me she was going to be in town for a week. She asked if she could stay with us instead of booking a hotel. I was hesitant because my kids are toddlers and our routine is very important, but I said yes because I figured it would be good for the family to reconnect. From the start, things didn't go well. Sarah arrived late at night, clearly exhausted, and I welcomed her warmly. The first few days were fine, but then the chaos started. She began using my kids' toys without asking, leaving dirty dishes in the living room, and playing loud music late into the night, despite my repeated requests to keep it down. The real issue, though, happened on the 4th day. I had taken the kids to daycare and work, and Sarah was supposed to be watching the house. When I got back, I found my living room and kitchen completely trashed. The couch cushions were ripped, several throw pillows were stained, and my kids' toys were broken or missing. The kitchen sink was piled with dirty dishes, some of which were shattered, and the trash had overflowed onto the floor. I was shocked and furious. I called Sarah immediately to ask what had happened. She said she was just having a little fun, and that the mess was no big deal because it was just stuff. She admitted she had invited a few friends over while I was out, despite my explicit instructions not to have anyone over. I told her this was unacceptable, that she had disrespected our home and our family, and that I expected her to clean everything up immediately. She scoffed, saying she was on vacation and didn't owe me anything. She then demanded that I compensate her for the inconvenience she suffered by staying at my house. I was stunned. She said she wanted me to pay for a hotel for her next time she visits and buy her new clothes because hers had gotten dirty while she was here. I told her no and insisted she clean up everything right away. She refused and left the house angrily, saying I was being unreasonable and that she never wanted to visit again. My wife was equally upset and said she felt like Sarah had taken advantage of our hospitality. I reached out to some family members to explain what happened, and the response was split. Some said I was too harsh and should have been more understanding, while others agreed Sarah was in the wrong for treating our home and kids' belongings so carelessly. I have not spoken to Sarah since. My wife and I spent hours cleaning and repairing the damage, which has cost us a lot of time and money. I still feel angry and betrayed, but some people keep telling me I should apologize to her for being so harsh and that I should have been more accommodating since she was going through a tough time. So, Reddit, am I the asshole for refusing to apologize to my sister after she trashed my house and demanded I make it up to her? Or was I justified in standing my ground? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the content grow and motivates me to create even more great videos. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. By the way, I'm curious, when do you usually watch my videos? While working, studying, or just relaxing at home? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your support. AITA for refusing to let my sister's fiancé stay at my house the weekend before their wedding, even though he's homeless? So this is a long one, and honestly, I'm still kind of reeling from everything that's happened. I, 32F, have a younger sister, Sarah, 29F, who is getting married in 2 weeks. She's always been kind of the black sheep of the family, had a rough patch in her 20s, bounced from job to job, and frankly, hasn't been very responsible when it comes to finances or planning. I, on the other hand, have my stuff together pretty well. I own a condo in the city, have a stable job, and am generally the reliable sibling. Sarah got engaged about 6 months ago to a guy named Tom, 31M. I'd never met Tom before the engagement, but after meeting him a couple of times, I felt like he was a bit of a mess. He doesn't have a job, doesn't own a place, and honestly had a history of being homeless off and on for years. Sarah has always been very protective of him, though, and insists that he's changed and is finally ready to get his life on track. I wanted to be supportive, so I agreed to help where I could with wedding stuff. Here's where things get tricky. About a month ago, Sarah told me Tom's been having a really hard time finding steady housing and is currently homeless again. She asked if he could stay with me for the weekend before their wedding because they live a few hours away, and she wanted him to be well-rested and ready for the big day. I was taken aback. I have a small place, 1 bedroom, and work from home. I already have a busy schedule leading up to the wedding, and the thought of taking in someone who's homeless and potentially dealing with instability, plus the emotional baggage that comes with it, stressed me out. I told Sarah I wasn't comfortable with having Tom stay at my place. I explained that I wasn't trying to be cruel, but that I have my own boundaries and space, and it felt like too much to take on right before the wedding. Sarah blew up at me. She said I was being selfish and unsupportive, and that Tom was family now and deserved kindness. She insisted I was making things harder for her and him by refusing. I tried to compromise by offering to help Tom find a cheap Airbnb nearby or put him in touch with some local shelters and support programs. Sarah didn't like that either and accused me of trying to push Tom away. Things got really tense, and she's barely spoken to me since. Fast forward to a week ago, Sarah's mom called me upset, saying that Sarah felt completely abandoned and was crying because she thought I'd be there for her. She also mentioned that Tom had no place to stay and that Sarah might end up canceling the wedding if things didn't get sorted out. That put me in an even harder spot because I love my sister and want her to be happy, but I also can't sacrifice my own peace of mind and boundaries. I haven't budged on the sleeping arrangement, but I've been trying to support Sarah in other ways, like helping with wedding planning and sending her some money for expenses. Sarah's fiancé has reached out to me a couple of times asking if there's any way he can stay, but I've been firm in my stance. Now my extended family is split. Some think I'm cold and unsupportive. Others agree that it's reasonable to set boundaries, especially since it's such a short time and I'm not obligated to take someone in when I'm not comfortable. Sarah's avoiding me, and I'm honestly feeling pretty guilty but also stressed and overwhelmed. So, Reddit, AITA for refusing to let my sister's homeless fiancé stay at my place the weekend before their wedding. AITA for refusing to attend my sister's wedding because of how she treated my mental health struggles. I, 29F, have always had a complicated relationship with my older sister, Emma, 33F. We were close growing up, but things started to unravel in our early 20s when I was diagnosed with severe anxiety and depression. Emma didn't handle it well. She seemed uncomfortable around me, often dismissive or minimizing my issues. She's always been the type to pride herself on toughing things out and not whining, so I guess mental health just wasn't her thing. When I first started therapy and medication, I confided in Emma, hoping for support. Instead, she told me that I was overreacting and that I should snap out of it. It hurt, but I try not to let it affect me too much because I knew she meant well in her own way. Over time, her responses stayed the same: disbelieving, occasionally judgmental, never supportive. Even when I had to cancel plans because I was having a bad mental health day, she'd make passive-aggressive comments about how I was always flaky or using my problems as an excuse. A couple of years ago, Emma started dating a guy named Mark, and they got engaged about a year ago. I was happy for her, honestly. Despite everything, I wanted to support her on this big life event. I figured maybe this wedding could be a turning point for us. However, from the moment the wedding planning started, it felt like I was being sidelined or outright excluded. First, she decided not to include me in the bridal party. I wasn't surprised given our strained relationship, but I asked if I could at least be involved in some way, help with invitations, decorations, or anything. Emma brushed me off, saying she had everything under control and didn't want drama. I tried to let it go, thinking I could just be a guest and celebrate with her. Then came the guest list drama. Emma insisted on a small wedding with just close family and friends, but she was very particular about who qualified as close. She invited people I barely know, but left out some of my longtime friends who she barely interacted with. I didn't press her on it, but it stung a little. What really broke me was when I asked if she would be willing to talk about having a quiet, low-key ceremony, because large social events are extremely triggering for me. I have PTSD from a past trauma, and loud crowds and unpredictable environments often cause panic attacks. I told her I might need to leave early or take breaks during the reception. Her response was cold. She said that this was her day, and I was expected to handle myself like an adult and not ruin the event with my issues. She also mentioned that everyone would be drinking and having fun, so I should just try to enjoy it or don't come. That hurt more than I can put into words. I had hoped she would understand and maybe make accommodations. Instead, she made it clear she didn't want me there if I couldn't be the perfect guest. Over the next few months, I tried reaching out to patch things up. I told her I understood her desire for a perfect wedding, but also that my mental health struggles are not something I can just switch off. I asked if there could be some compromise, maybe a separate, quiet space or shorter attendance on my part. She ignored these messages or gave vague responses. Then, about a month ago, I found out through a mutual friend that Emma was telling people I was being dramatic and selfish for not supporting her wedding fully. According to them, she framed me as the difficult sibling who was making everything about herself. This really broke my heart because I never wanted to hurt her or cause problems. I just wanted her to acknowledge my limits and respect them. So, after a lot of reflection and talking to my therapist, I told Emma that I wouldn't be attending the wedding. I explained that I loved her, but felt she had crossed a line by invalidating my mental health and making me feel unwelcome. I also said I couldn't be part of a day where I'm not respected or supported. I offered to meet up separately sometime afterward to celebrate with her in a way that wouldn't trigger me. Emma hasn't responded directly, but she's been posting passive-aggressive stuff on social media about family loyalty and supporting loved ones no matter what. Some of my relatives have messaged me, saying I'm being selfish and causing unnecessary drama before the wedding. They think I should just put my issues aside for one day. I'm devastated because I don't want to be the villain in my family's eyes, but I also can't sacrifice my mental health for a single day that clearly means more to her than to me. So, AITA for refusing to attend my sister's wedding over how she treated my mental health?